And I wanted to share a recent story of a transaction that I had in Upland, California for a home that we sold off market. That's not the fascinating thing about it though. The most interesting thing is really the stuff that happens in a house and the stories that are told by family members who share about the people who lived in the house. So when I walked through this house, I noticed tons of beautiful paintings, and I asked the client, the seller, who painted all these? What are these? And she had said that these were her grandmother's paintings, had left all of these paintings for the family members because, back in her time, they couldn't afford to take pictures, so she painted everything by hand. And then I come to learn that this woman was actually an artist at Disney, and she was one of the thousands of artists, or they called assistants at the time, that never got credit for their painting. They were never allowed to sign their names on cells, never allowed to sign their names on any kind of paintings. And so this one in particular was so fascinating because there was no signature on it as well. And so we talked, and I asked her, would you be willing to share this story about your grandmother and maybe some of her paintings as well? And she did. So I hope you enjoy this story by one of our sellers. And about the most fascinating thing really about real estate is the stories that really happen inside the home.
I'm so excited to chat about this beautiful painting that was uncovered by one of our clients, Jennifer, in a home in Upland. When I first saw this painting, for me, it says a lot about just women's empowerment and how the young woman is just kind of looking to the side with a lot of things going on in her mind, and she looks very demure. And I thought it was also interesting that it's not signed. So Jennifer, what were you were sharing with me something about how she didn't sign some of her
some
pictures.
of them are not signed and some of them are signed, so I'm not exactly sure why that is. Extremely poor when she was younger, and even for her wedding album, she drew everything. So her whole album is just drawings of all the gifts and all the guests and her dress and her bridesmaids, and everything was drawn in the album, which was really, really special.
What projects did she work on at Disney?
I know she worked on Snow White. That was a really fun one. And when she talks about that, when she talked about that, she would just light up. But she did work on many different ones, and we have cells of several. So that's been very exciting. But Snow White, I believe, was one of her very favorite ones that she worked. 5 grandchildren, so we each have a different cell. She had many cells, so she would pick them up off the ground, any clippings or anything, and put them in a box. So she saved everything, ribbons and bows and everything, but this is one of the things she saved. So this is a little Hiawatha, but with each one of these we had, my mom had these done for us one Christmas, so we each have one, and a company put them into the cells into different backgrounds, but with each one they went ahead and told the story of each cell. So it tells exactly when Walt Disney Production did each cell. So this one was done in 1937, but with each one of them they went ahead and gave us a copy of her Federation Screen Cartoonist card, and then her employee identification card, and then her paycheck, which is super cool. So this one's from August 10th, 1940. Yeah. And at the time, it wasn't very common for women to be able to work in this industry. So it was kind of a little hush-hush because she wasn't allowed to be working on a lot of these things, but it was very, it's very cool for us to have this. So yeah, we all have our own different ones, so they're all different. Yeah, so these are very valuable to us.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your grandmother's story with us, and these paintings of history where what women were enduring what they were
Yes,
going through,
where
working conditions,
where we
and
were and where we are
were.
now.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so
thank
much,
you.
and thank you for letting us honor
Of
your
course,
grandmother.
Of course. Thank you for honoring her. She was amazing.